beleid te hersien om seker te maak dat ons nie baie mense uitskakel nie. Die laaste punt, president, is dat gister was ons in Keimus. Ons het begin die beplanning en die tender gaan uit die einde van November om 'n nuwe hof te bou daar. Net langs aan die polisiestasie. Maar die mense van Keimus en daardie distrik, julle moet betrokke wees by daardie projek. Ek het gister gevra dat daar moet 'n projeksteringkomitee gestig word, sodat publieke werke, public works kan gereeld skakel en vir die mense sê, wat is die voordele in daardie tender vir hulle? Hoeveel werke gaan gegee word aan plaaslike gemeenskappe en plaaslike besighede? So ons het al ons eerste social facilitation gehad. Maar ons wag nou vir die mense van Keimus om daardie komitee te stig so gou as moontlik. Maar onthou, as julle gekies word op die komitee om jou organisasie te verteenwoordig, julle moet ook terugvoering gaan gee aan enige organisasie wat julle aan behoort. Want julle kom nie daar om julle jackets te kom verteenwoordig, en julle kom daar om die mense te verteenwoordig. So, ons moet seker maak dat die mense in Keimus munisipaliteit altyd die waarheid weet en wat is die voordele vir al die mense daar. Maar daar is te veel grond eise wat ook nog uitstaande is. En as ons daar die summit het, dan kan ons ook praat oor die uitstaande grondeise wat daar nog is. Want baie van ons mense gaan dood terwyl hulle wag by grond om terug te kom. Baie dankie.
Die land verdedigd was, sodat ons mense die staan en die boy moet nie soos uitlanders voel nie. Want ek het gehoor dat hulle voel dat hulle is uitlanders. Niemand hier in Suid-Afrika wat 'n Suid-Afrikaner is, moet voel dat hulle is uitlanders. We are all South Africans. And I'm very pleased, Minister, to hear that there must be portions, pieces of land along the Orange River. Last night I slept in a hotel which borders on the Orange River. Dit is 'n baie mooi rivier daardie. En ons moet sorg dat ons mense ook kan iets kry van die land wat naby die rivier is. Like all the others who have been benefiting over the years. So ons moet dit doen. Now, one of the things that was also raised had to do with schools, basic education. Ek gaan nou vra vir minister Motshega om voor te kom om met skole kan praat. Minister Motshega.
Thank you very much, President, and good afternoon to all the members here. President, the main question was really around special schools, which was a very emotional one. And if we have to recall, the NDP instructs us to have an inclusive education which leaves no one behind. And I'll be the first to admit, President, that that is one area that we are not where we should be. And that's why the presentation was this emotional, because it is a major problem. In 2018, I even declared 2018 a year of special education because there are major challenges. And early this year, I convened a national conference to assess our progress in the past 3 years since 2018. And amongst other things we picked up, President, was that indeed we have made lots of progress from where we are, but major challenges remain. But what is also very helpful that after 2018, Treasury started allocating money for us to deal with special education. But other things that came from the January Lekgotla, it's a question of skills around the area of special education, because it's not an area that we had developed very well as a country. So there were the shortages of skills for people to deal with special education. We have very few teachers who can sign language. We have very few teachers who can really deal with all sorts of disabilities and even the serious ones. But the advantage is that we have a budget. But what also came, which is another area of underspending, because whilst we assessed and have the resources, our plans were, in some provinces, were not picking up very well because of those legacies. And that's why the lady who spoke here said she could only find a child a place in Cape Town, because the only provinces that are able to cope, it's Gauteng and Western Cape, and simply because historically they've always had schools for special education, especially with serious disabilities. So what, based also on, because as you could see, President, it's a very emotional subject for parents because it brings enormous pains to families. I'm going to speak with my colleagues that when we go to cabinet, I think because we have the money, the problem is that we are even underspending because the other provinces are not able to put quickly the programs that needs to be put in place because of skills, resources, and all sorts of things. And I'll speak with my colleague here, the MEC, that I think when we go back to CEM, it's to request to make a proposal to Treasury that they allow us to redesign our financial plan so that children who come from Northern Cape, if they find space in the Western Cape or Gauteng, they can be subsidized by their provinces, because those provinces will be unable to subsidize them if their home provinces are not paying. So I think it's something we have to do, because these other provinces continue to underspend because there's no capacity and the problem is huge. So I thought we'll deal with that, and I think MEC Monakali will support me on that one. But we'll continue to monitor and admit that it's an area of great concern, and it's an area, President, to report myself to yourself, that it's an area we're struggling. We're not performing at the level we should be performing. There was also information about, and I think that's advice, what we should do with boarding schools. And I don't think we can really say, yes, indeed, when schools close, we will not ask kids to go home. It really is a logistic issue. We note it as a matter that we'll discuss. There was also a point about aftercare, and I was whispering to Minister Zulu that ourselves actually need those aftercare programs so that when kids leave school, there are receiving centers where they can do all sorts of things, which we have to run together. They can do reading, they can do homeworks, they can do sports, they can do arts, and it will be very helpful to support that initiative that the lady has raised. But it's something that we should run with social development, we should run also with sports, we should run also with the Department of Arts, and that we are taking. The other issue around let me leave the PESAL story, President. I'll come back to it after. Just as a side, you see this young chap who's sitting in front of the president. When I came here, I saw all these young ones under 10. I said, my children, this time of the day, we're here with you. What do you want? They said, Minister, we'll go to school on Monday. Today we're coming to see the president. It will never happen in our lives that we see the president. And this one has been standing here to say, the police won't allow me to come forward. Just quickly take a picture so that I come out with the president. So those people here, President, their shop steward said, please don't chase us. It will never happen in our time that we are with the president at the same place. And I already felt that I should leave them. As I closed, also about job opportunities, without promising people, I think it's and we've been doing road shows as a Department of Basic Education. We've inherited ECD from social development. And it's another huge area of growth, President. More than 5 million children are outside the net. So which means we have to train thousands of young people. So I hear the story about matriculants. But our starting point is people should not come if they don't want to teach or to be with children. And in the sector, we are saying to be on PESAL. It takes 4 years training. You can't be on PESAL in education if you don't have 4 years training. So those matriculants should prepare themselves to be ECD practitioners with 4 years training in all economies that beat us in education. They are ECD practitioners, are the most educated and have been trained longer than even high school teachers. So there's going to be a huge opportunity, and we'll be recruiting those young matriculants. But please, if you don't like children, don't waste time. It's going to frustrate you. But there's another area of huge potential for job creation. So, President, those are the ones that I picked up really around special education and aftercare programs for reading. So those are the ones. I hope I've not missed anything.
Now I want your shop stewards to come to the stage. Come. Nou, hierdie is die laaste dag wat jy nie skool toe gaan nie. Jy het nou die president gesien, maar op maandag, waar gaan jy? Skool toe. Baie goed, baie goed. Thank you very much. One of the very good programs we are proud of is the presidential employment stimulus program. That in the past 2 years, particularly during COVID, led to the employment of some 800,000 people who worked, 600,000 who worked in our schools. And if Minister Motshekga had time, she would have spoken about it, how well it was executed. And Northern Cape also benefited from this program because 'n paar eintlik al julle skole het hierdie jong mense gekry who were assistants and who were able to do all sorts of work, including IT work and so forth. One of the great endowments that julle had hier in Noord-Kaap is minerale. You have minerals and you've got minerals from iron ore to manganese to copper and many others. Now, one of the things that we've been hearing is the complaint against, yes, the ownership of minerals. I'm going to ask Dr. Nobuhle Nkabane, who is the Deputy Minister of Minerals and Energy, just to come and explain this program of ownership that we have in the mines in our country. As you come up, Deputy Minister, as you come up, one of the places I visited yesterday was Redstone, which is in Postmansberg. Now, the community is going to be a beneficial owner of a sizable ownership of the facility where we are already generating renewable energy. And indeed, in a number of other facilities, our communities and black entrepreneurs have become owners. And this is being done in the light of our policy of black economic empowerment, broad-based black economic empowerment, to allow our communities to benefit from this. Now, this was raised, and the Deputy Minister, who works with Minister Mantashe, will just touch on this and how we are enforcing these laws. Deputy Minister.
No, thank you so much, Mr. President. I'm going to greet the community of Upington. I'm not sure whether I'm pronouncing the area correctly. It's Upington, yes. Yeah. Maybe in terms of ensuring that we ensure that our people benefit in terms of the mining activities that take place in their areas. It comes a very long way. As you know that it started around 1955 during the Freedom Charter, where there is a clause that says all minerals beneath the soil shall belong to the people as a whole. Then, as part of our transformation agenda is the African National Congress and the government in South Africa, we took a stance of ensuring that we enact laws that are going to be responsive to the needs of our communities, in particular where there are mining activities that are taking place. So what we have done, we drafted a law which is called MPRDA, which is responsive to the needs of our communities. There is also another one, which is the mining charter. Although we believe that there are some issues, some are taking it to the courts because they are challenging the interpretation and analysis of the charter, because they want to understand whether is it a regulation or a law. So we are still busy processing those processes in terms of the interpretation of the mining charter. But basically, social and labor plan projects are trying to respond to the needs of our communities in ensuring that they do benefit where there are mining activities taking place. The mining company has a responsibility to make sure that our communities, they benefit either through projects that are implemented in the community or either through bursaries. There are also royalties that our traditional authorities benefit out of it. We also have inspectors within the department and the regional offices in each and every province where they go around ensuring that there is compliance with the mining charter, because it is the obligation of the mining permit that our people must benefit through the social and labor plan projects. But there are also other programs that we are embarking on. For instance, in the Northwest, we've started a program of the Women Diggers program, where women are then roped into the mining activities, the entire value chain. Here in Kuruman, we have started another project where we are busy training about 40 women to make sure that they also form part of the entire value chain of the mining activities. We are working closely with our entities, the Council for Geoscience, as well as MinTech, in ensuring that they get trainings in terms of entrepreneurship as well as small-scale mining. If you have further questions that you need to understand, we do have our area manager here, Mr. Ndlelentle Zindela, who is responsible for this area. He is a very competent man who is going to assist you and take you through the processes on how do you go about for you to be able to access a mining permit. Thank you so much, Mr. President.
Well done. Well done. Thank you. We are now going to move a little faster. I'm going to want Minister Kubai to come and address the issue of houses. Now, in talking to the Premier, the Northern Cape has a shortfall of 80,000 units of houses. Now, that has to be addressed, and that is what the Premier is most concerned about, because he sees a proliferation of informal settlements in a number of places. And wherever one goes, we hear the same concern about houses and people having a shortage of houses. So I'd like the Premier, the Minister, to address this, but also to address the other issue that came up. There was one of my sisters who came up and spoke about women in construction, so that we also touch on the issue, the challenges, the probleme vateleno in the construction industry. Minister, please, let's touch on that, and thereafter we'll touch on 2 or 3 other issues, and then we'll ask the Premier to round off, and then I'll close.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Let me first acknowledge the challenge in Northern Cape, specifically in the allocation. It's more around the challenge of equitable share. On human settlements, Northern Cape gets the least in terms of the funds. We've been working together with the National Treasury to try and see how best can we respond to the baseline allocation. So we're still in the process. We're not yet done, but conversations are continuing. One of the things that we took as a decision was that Northern Cape will be utilized as a pilot for the front loading that the Minister of Finance had already talked about. I've asked the team, Mr. President, to talk to SAWIC because we, as the Department of Human Settlements, we've launched all SAWIC chapters across provinces, including here in the Northern Cape. So I want to understand, I've asked the MEC, and none of us are not sure why our colleague was saying they are not recognized. Perhaps it's in terms of allocation, because in other provinces you might find that they are allocated specific recognition in terms of projects, but we'll take it up because in terms of their launching, it has been done. In terms of their structure in the province, it has been done. Mr. President, the other issue that was raised was around illegal occupation of land. We have checked our records. In terms of ZW district, we don't have illegal occupations that are on record, but we've asked for records to check. We know the district that we have a bit of a challenge is around Kimberley, so we are dealing with that. But in this district, when we checked our records, we don't have that much. On service sites, quite a number of communities raised challenges around allocation of houses and service sites. Mr. President, we have several projects that we are working on, maybe just to indicate to the communities. We have a KMOS project in Kamako. Project is now at 1,541 residential sites. It's in progress, under constructions currently. In 8 COMs, 748 projects. We have 748 residential sites that are currently under construction, almost done. This will be sites that are given to communities. In Groblershoop, it's 1,539 residential stands that are given. This is a project in that area. In Smarties, 328 residential stands that are allocated there. In Dakota, we've got 409 residential stands where houses will be built. In Jahans Stadium, 128 residential areas that are allocated with projects for houses. In Pabalelo, Makweta Valley, we've got 503 residential sites in that area. Another Pabalelo project is Pabalelo North East with 990 project sites, a residential area. The other one is in Rosedale 400 project, which has 400 residential stands. Rosedale 438 is another site with 438 residential stands. Rosedale, 452 projects. These are another one, which is almost around 881 sites. This will be built. Some of them will be, first we are giving residential sites with service sites. This will be with bulk infrastructure, water, which is water, sanitation, and electricity. And then as we go along, as we're looking for more budget allocation, then we'll be able to provide for houses. The other issue that was raised, it's around military veterans. We have 15 military veterans that have been approved currently by the National Department of Military Veterans and Defense. Out of these 15, 10 of them are in this district and 5 of them are in another district. We can only allocate, Mr. President, and communities military veterans houses once they've been verified and approved by the National Department of Defense and Military Veterans. So we work on that. We previously had a challenge in the province. When I was here, we met with the Premier together and the MEC first with the military veterans, and we agreed on a process. In the district, Pixley, for example, we did rectify and started allocating. So the work around military veterans allocation of houses, we currently underway as the department, and we on track. The only slack is that sometimes we find military veterans that are saying we don't houses, only to find they are not yet verified by the Department of Defense and Military Veterans, and we can't allocate those houses. Mr. President, in Upington, Larry raised the issue. This area, for example, lacks in terms of bulk infrastructure, and what has been done is that, and the national team was there this week, 90% of the planning has been done in this township. We've completed. We are waiting for the district tribunal to finalize the work so that the process of declaration of a township can be done, and this will allow for services to be put in, especially permanent services. In Kai Kharib, the work that has been done, it's around service site. This is one of the areas as well. The province Coxstar has assisted the Kai Kharib municipality to apply for MIC, while there are shortages that we have from the human settlement side. Once that has been approved, services will be put. I must say, Mr. President, again, I think it's Amanda from Posting, Ward 3. I think it's also around the issue of Satsabani local municipality. We are confirming that we are waiting for finalization of plans so that we can implement. We will pay attention to 2 municipalities specifically, Mr. President, which is K municipality and Kai Kharib, because it does need us to come forward with more resources. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Baie dankie, minister. Nou, ons wil hê ons moet praat oor die geleenthede wat hierdie provinsie het, particularly in relation met al die wonderlike dinge of goed wat julle het hier in hierdie provinsie. Julle het die son, julle het die wind, en julle het ook hydrogen, die hydrogen nuwe sector van onze economie. Ek gaan nou vra vir minister Barbara Creasy om voor te kom, om bietjie kom praat oor hierdie nuwe geleenthede wat ons het. Because, come forward, Minister, as I speak, want this is the new sector that is opening up. Now, the Premier will give you the figures, because he's got the figures on his fingertips. I just want Minister Creasy, who is the Minister of forestry, fisheries, and environment, just to talk a little bit about these great opportunities, die wonderlijke geleenthede wat ons het hier die provinsie, with regard to the sonkrag, the wind, the windkracht, and hydrogen, and the opportunities that people talk about in Bochum, which is going to generate a great deal of growth in this province. It was
Mr. President, one of the question, what are we doing about the poor air quality in the mining areas? And we did receive this complaint about the poor air quality at Gatelopele local municipality and also Tsansabani local municipality. So 2 weeks ago, Mr. President, we went to Dwala mine in Daniel Skoil, and we also went to the Kolomela mine in Postmasburg. Both of those mines have agreed to finance an air quality monitoring station. That air quality monitoring station, Mr. President, will give figures to the mine to say whether they are exceeding the air quality standards and whether or not the emissions that are coming from the mine are damaging to human health. So once those stations are built, Mr. President, we will work together with the local municipality to monitor the emissions and to make sure that the air quality that is coming out of those mines is not damaging to the communities that live there. On the hydrogen, our country and the rest of the world are gradually moving away from using coal to generate electricity to using sunshine. Now, South Africa is one of the top 10 sunniest countries in the world. And what that means is that here in the Northern Cape, electricity are also in a premier to develop green hydrogen. And green hydrogen is a new kind of fuel that can be used in the future to power ships and to power airplanes. And the Premier will tell you about the partnership that exists in Bochum. But the important thing that we want everybody here to understand is that we are working with the Northern Cape to find something that can change this problem of werkloosheid that everybody spoke about, and can find something that can use the natural, God-given environment to create work and to fight poverty here. Let me pause them, Mr. President, and we can ask Premier Saul to give the details of the Buchabai project. Thank you.
Hierdie projekte baie investments bring and in fact, as we look now, almost 200 billion has been invested in our renewable program. Has come here in the Northern Cape, mostly in relation to many other provinces. The Northern Cape is a big target for big investments that are going to come. I was in Saudi Arabia with a number of ministers already, and some of the companies that are seeing the opportunities here in the Northern Cape with regard to solar, with regard to renewables and green hydrogen, want to come to no other place other than the Northern Cape. And I hope you are all ready for the investments that are going to keep coming here. Now, very quickly, there were quite a number of social issues that were raised, Minister Zulu, and I'd like you to come and very quickly address and touch on some of those issues as quickly as we can. I want to move forward because we've been here since just after 10. And I'll call on one or two others. The issue of military veterans, which I was going to ask Minister Gumubele to address, was touched on earlier by Minister Dubai, so you are good relief there. And then I'm going to go to the agriculture part, and I'm going to ask the CTA, so that we don't waste time. Okay, you will come up later. Minister Didiza, and I'm going to ask on the issue of small and medium
because one of the things that I found in Upington, but in Northern Cape in general, the communities are very organized, their townships are very neat, they are very clean, they plant beautiful flowers, they have little gardens where they plant flowers. I was saying to the MEC of Agriculture, we should maybe try and balance between the flowers that are beautiful they're planting and give them seeds to make sure that they can also have gardens, so that within the flowers they can produce the carrots and cabbages and all. The issue of drugs, Mr. President, every year since I've been a Minister of Social Development, in November we are always here because we combine issues of gender-based violence and femicide, as well as the issue of drugs, but also human trafficking, because this province is one of those provinces that is suffering from human trafficking. So we do come back, we will come back again and do the programs that we normally have, and people attend to those programs. With regard to the, I raised another issue with Minister Mutseha, that as the Department of Social Development, the CNDCs we call them, children come out of school and they go to those centers, and in those centers they are fed before they go home. In some of the centers, actually, they go to the center in the morning before they go to school. I'm now saying to Minister Mutseha and myself, we must look at other services that we can do, like them being able to do homeworks in the schools and be monitored. But obviously the challenge is getting the teachers there and getting the social workers there. Overall, there is also the issue of the NGOs who are supposed to receive funding from the Department of Social Development. Here is fact, Mr. President. Many of them do not comply. And there's one thing that we will not be able to do, is to give financial resources to people who are not complying, because we are expected to comply with taxpayers' money, and we want the community to explain the department. The accountability and how
as well we are fortunate that through the presidential empowerment initiative, you have also rekindled. And therefore, we want to say to the women who raise the issue of one household, 1 hectare, we will take that program working with the provincial MPCs so that we address the issue of household food security.
sectors. Complaining of lack of support, both from the MRE and ourselves that we're not looking at. We know, Deputy Minister, that although we have given mining licenses or permits, but there's no business development support that is provided for small scale miners. We therefore committed that we will help in terms of funds, exploration of we believe that would have given our people a way into participating in the that we come because in you where we are working with say opportunities that are here for processing, providing both the business development support and everything requires money within our small businesses. Realizing that we don't have enough pockets to provide the small businesses with the funding we need, we then agreed that we're engaging the big corporates that are investing in this province to make sure that they provide some space through the ESD funds that are there in order to make sure that we can make whatever funds that they have as part of the 3% towards this province, and we assist those small businesses that were complaining that they are mining this year but not other excluded. Now if we join hands with the ESD funds, we are then able to take the local each local excluding small businesses, especially those that are in the informal sector. Provided equipment to 78 small businesses, and this is what we've been doing throughout the process, Mr. President. But we are concerned, Premier, as we've said yesterday, in all the monies that we are distributing. Northern Cape from 2018 to date has only managed to get about 88 million rand that we have approved through SIVA, and out of to the country in terms of declaring the profits. I know that one is too difficult. People like hiding from the taxman. But it's for your own good that when we introduce certain schemes, you are able to benefit and also have an opportunity to participate in the businesses that we do, because tax must be paid. As I say that, Mr. President, one of the red tape issues that has been highlighted is the fact that small businesses have to be running around all the time. For them to fill the tender document in the municipality, they need to go to SARS, they need a bank certificate, they need to find an act, Mr. President. And this is why we said we are developing.
Sê goeiemôre. Nou is goeiemiddag. En die president het vir my nou gesê dat die mense van die Noord-Kaap is kragtig. Hulle sit hier van vanoggend af, dis amper as paar minute oor 3 nou. En die mense sit nog hier. En ek sê vir die president dat hulle kan sit tot 12 uur in die aand. Want daar's groot uitdagings en probleme hier in die Noord-Kaap. Maar soos ek geluister het, en ek wil net vir die mense verduidelik wat sal die proses is, daar's klomp goede wat hulle genoem het. Maar die proses is almal wat gepraat het. Die meeste van die mense het nie vir hulle self gepraat, hulle het vir die gemeenskap gepraat. Waar hulle vandaan kom. En nadat hulle gepraat het, hulle het na 'n tafel toe gegaan wat iewers daar is. Die ding gesê, hulle se adres gevat en al daai tipe goede. Op al die goede wat hulle genoem het, daar sal 'n opvolging wees. Op alles. En ons het hier ons ministers en adjunct ministers wat ook antwoorde gegee op paar van die goede wat hulle genoem het. Ek dink dit is nou baie belangrik. En ek is seker ons almal is bly om van vanoggend af hier te sit tot nou saam met die president en leerders van sy kabinet. Maar paar goede wat genoem was, wat ek wil hê graag, ek moet ook benoem, is die feit dat vir die finansiële jaar, het ons as die provinsie 185 miljoen rand ontvang voor de Presidential Youth Employment Initiative. En soos ons praat, daar 7000 jong mense wat deel is van die program. Dit is aan die gang. En that's a Presidential Youth Employment Initiative. Kan ons vir die president 'n lekker hande klap gee. Dit is die program van die president waar daar, soos ons praat, 7000 jong mense nou in werksgeleenthede is. Hier in die Noord-Kaap net, maar dit is 'n nasionale program. Maar hier in die Noord-Kaap, ons het 7000 jong kinders wat deelneem in die program. So daar's paar ander goede wat hulle genoem het, iets soos misdaad en dwelmsgebruik. Ek dink daar is nou heel wat groot probleme vir jong mense in ons provinsie. En ons het ook antwoorde gekry van onze minister van die polisie. Dat beteken nou ons sal meer polities op die grond sien in die Noord-Kaap. En polities wat nie geld vat nie. Wat die geld vat nie van criminele af nie. En dis wat ons nou regtig soek. Wat hulle se werk sal doen en seker maak dat ons bekaap misdaad en dwelmsgebruik hier in onze provincie. Daar's iets wat die dame genoem het vandag rondom die community health workers, gemeenskap, gesondheidswerkers. Sy sit iewers daar. Ja, daar die dame. In die provincie ons het 2300 van hulle. En ek het nou saam met die LER gepraat hier. Hy sê toe hy inkom as die LER amper 2 jaar gelede toe het die probleem daar gekry. Die probleem is nasionaal net soos die president gesê het. Er is net een provincie wat hulle permanent opgeneem het op hulle stelsel en ons moet kyk wat sal nasionaal vir ons sê rondom dit. Want om hulle almal permanent op te neem, dit kom met koste. En ons moet geld kry om dit te kan doen. Maar die vraag van grond was geantwoord en ek dink soos Angie die ding rondom spesiale skole. Dit begin nou 'n groot probleem raak vir die Noord-Kaap. Elke jaar begin van die jaar daar's ouers wat vra rondom dit. En ons is baie bly dat u gesê het, tesame met die LER hier in die provincie, julle sal aan iets werk. Maar dit is nou regtig 'n probleem en vernaam vir ouers wat gestremde kinders het. Dit is 'n hartseer storie en ons moet iets doen rondom dit. En is rondom die klein besighede hier in die Noord-Kaap, ondersteuning vir die klein besighede, dit is baie belangrik. En die meeste van die klein besighede is onze mense wat die geld het. Wat om seker te maak dat ons sal die probleem oplos en vir hulle die nodige ondersteuning gee. Al die dorpe in die provinsie wat myne het, daar's groot probleme daar. En ons het die insig gehoor van die adjunct minister van myne. Daar's altyd probleme daar. Ek dink ons moet tyd maak om te probeer om die probleme op te los. Van in meeste gevalle al die dorpe wat myne het, sonplase het en al die ander groot besighede. Die armoede is hoog in die dorpe. Baie min gebeur om ons mense en gemeenskappe te ontwikkel. So dis probleme wat ons moet vaskyk en met 'n oplossing kom, laat ons mense se lewensstandaarde kan verbeter. Maar president, daar was klomp goede wat genoem was en ek is seker dat die mense van ZFM weet dat ons sal hard probeer om al die probleme op te los. Maar ek wil sê dat daar was orde en discipline vandag. Daar was orde en discipline vandag. En ons was baie dankbaar vir dit. Ons is dankbaar vir dit. Met die het saam met die president Karoo Afrikaans gepraat. Ek sê president, jy is in die Kalahari, maar ek sal saam met jou Karoo Afrikaans praat. Ek sê die mense is baie kwaad. En as jy baie kwaad is, dan sê jy, ek is vies. As jy is so nie. Ek is vies. As jy baie kwaad is. As jy is vies. So ek sê vir die president, die mense is baie kwaad. So sê die president, wat kan ek dan vraag as die mense so kwaad is? Sê, president, as die mense baie kwaad is, hulle kan baie beteer raak. En die Karoos noem dat beteer. Ek weet hier in die Kalahari, julle sê bedonder. Ja, ek sê vir die president, die mense is bietjie beteer, die mense is bietjie beteer. Karoo Afrikaans, die ene van die Kalahari nie. So die mense is baie bedonder. Dink ek jong, dat sal enige warme vergadering daar wees. En ek sê vir die president, as 'n ander vergadering wat ek hier by gewoon het, dus dan 'n ander tannie hier by op die deur. Ek sê vir my, weet jy wat, premier, as ek so bedonder is, dan voel ek om 'n man te moes sommer. So daarom vandag ons het dit gekry nie. En kan julle vir julle self lekker aan 'n klap gee verder. Ek dink ons het 'n goeie tyd hier gehad. Ons het 'n goeie tyd hier gehad en ons is almal hier omdat ons julle respekteer. Dis die rede hoekom ons almal hier is. En ons is almal hier, want ons weet ons taak is om julle te bedien. Dat is so nie. Soos ons hier sê, dit is nie verniet nie. Dit is nie verniet nie. Ons moet terugkom en vir u antwoorde gee. En nie net antwoorde gee nie, en nie net antwoorde gee nie. Ons moet verandering in julle se lewens bring. Dis wat ons moet doen. So met die paar woorde, baie dankie, dat julle so ordentlike groep was vir die vergadering en ons is baie trots op julle. Baie dankie.
Hierdie man is baie lang. Baie dankie, premier. Julle mense hier in die Noord-Kaap, julle is baie gelukkig. Julle het 'n premier wat baie hard werk, wat baie slim is, wat baie geleerde is. Hy doen sy werk baie mooi. Ek is baie bly om 'n premier. Ek is baie bly, ons het 'n baie goed Imbizo gehad. Daarom het ek gesê dat dit is die beste Imbizo wat ons nog gehou het. Baie dankie. En ek wil ook sê dat ons het baie probleme in die land. Maar de Noord-Kaap het groot potentiaal. Ons sien die groot potentiaal. En ek wil net sê dat almal van ons moet saamwerk om hierdie potentiaal to make it happen. is a potential that is out there, and I can count a number of the sectors of your economy. You have 300 kilometers of sea line, and the tourism, the toeristen, die baie besoekers wat nou hier kom, to come and look at your woestijn, the desert, hulle kom kyk aan die blomme, they come to look at the Orange River and the great opportunities and the animals that you have here. The potential is great. Now we're talking about, as Minister Chrissy said, hydrogen. We're looking at the mineral that you had here. Iron ore, titanium, manganese, copper, many others. And that lends itself to great opportunities. And this is one province rather, where I am absolutely certain we are going to see continued investments flowing in, where we are going to see our government also beginning to focus on new ways of doing things. For instance, we need to build more schools here. And we've been talking to the Department of Treasury that one of the things that we should start doing is to be forward-looking and be able to plan forward and be able to finance the schools that should be built now and project the funding into the future. We should do that with housing as well. So these are wonderful experiments that we want to put in place here in the Northern Cape, and we will do it. I want to end by extending my gratitude to all of you. Well, that's a Bayadanki said that you participated in this Imbizo in a disciplined, dedicated, and patient manner in which you've all participated. None of you has moved out. None of you has performed in a way that could disrupt the Imbizo, and ons weet ons het baie probleme ook hier, but I will say that you were able to present your problems, your challenges in a very dignified manner. Baie dankie vir dat. En ek wil graag baie dankie sê vir all die staatsamptenare, those who have helped to prepare for this Imbizo. I want to say thank you, because as our officials, soos ons amptenare, julle het baie hard gewerk, en ons sê baie dankie vir al die werk wat julle gedoen het. En ek wil ook baie dankie sê vir al onze politie. The police who've been here, they've been there at the distance, but they've made sure that our Imbizo also works well. En ek wil ook baie dankie sê vir onze voorsitters, wat baie mooi gewerk om hierdie Imbizo mooi te hanteer. And baie dankie to all the ministers, the deputy ministers, the mayors who've been here, MECs, and almal van julle. Julle is baie belangrik, and baie dankie. Thank you very much.